Hi, welcome to our pre-calculus. The topic today is solving a word problem using the law of sines. So here we see a story is given about Sam and Tammy who are standing on a riverbank. They are 120 meters apart at points A and B in the picture. Tammy is 250 uh, meters from a house located across the river at point C. Suppose the angle A is 55 degrees. What's the measure of the angle B? And we want to round the answer to 1/10 of a degree. So what is it that is in this picture? We have a triangle. In this triangle, several quantities are known. One side, another side, and the angle. So it's side, side, angle. So that is just the problem we did last time. We noticed that it's a bit long in the tooth and takes a number of steps to go through. One of the complications there was that there could be no solution, one solution, two solutions, and again back to one. So in the case that is drawn here, you can kind of sense that this 250 meters here, if we draw vertical, you could flip this to the other side as well, and there would have been a second solution. And the angles that we are to calculate would be different. So we are relying on the picture to tell which one of these two is required in our problem. So this is obviously an obtuse angle, this acute angle, and this one is an obtuse angle. This is obtuse angle, and there's only room for one answer here, so we are going to rely on that judgment to go ahead. So let's go ahead and draw this picture. So I'm going to redraw the picture, make it a bit simpler. So we have a situation like this is 120. This is an obtuse angle here. This is 55, and this is 250. So as we said, this is side-side angle. It's also called the ambiguous case because of exactly the issue we raised here, like are you on this side or on that side? There are two, if there are solutions, typically there are two of them. So what is involved in this case? Let's use the lettering same as up here. So I have A and B and C. So we know that law of sine says that sine of A over A and sine of B over B and sine of C over C, these are equal to each other. Well, let's go ahead and write. This is sine of, this is 55 degrees, and by A we mean the side opposite of A, so that would be 250. And that is going to be equal to, well, let's say sine of C. So let's go ahead and find that because I have access to what C is. That's 120. And okay, so we go ahead and calculate C here. Let's see what we get. So we get sine of C is equal to 120 times sine of 55 degrees over 250. Then we go ahead and calculate C. That's going to be sine inverse of this quantity. I'm going to write it like this. Looks a bit convoluted, but again, we said to get the maximum accuracy from the calculator, that's the best way to do. If you want to calculate this thing by itself, just keep 4 or 5 decimal places, and that should be sufficient. We calculate this thing, and we get a quantity, at least I get 23,1533. Okay, now comes the following challenge. This looks about right here, but we need to be aware that when we are solving sine of C equal to a number, there are always two possibilities, because when we have a basic sine equation to solve, you have a certain sine value, let's say here, and you have two solutions. One goes to the right, the other one goes to the left, and you want to calculate both of them. So this one we have calculated is 23 degrees. Well, how about the bigger one? Bigger one then is going to be 180 minus 23, and that is going to give us about 157. Now we reject this because of what reason? That doesn't, well, by picture doesn't match. And on the other hand, if this is one, if for some fashion we could make 157 here, 157 and 55 is going to make 212 degrees. Sum of all the angles of a triangle is supposed to be 180. So this other answer just falls out of consideration for two reasons. One is just doesn't look like the right answer on the picture, and the other one is that the sum of the angles of a triangle would not be 180. Your angle B is going to turn out to be negative, and so on, and that does not make sense in our triangle. So this is all told, this I'm going to write it 2315 here, and once you have that, then finding B is going to be easy, because you say, well, 180 minus B and C, so it's minus A and C. So 180 minus A was 55, and C we calculated it 23,1533, and out comes, let me see, so 180 minus 55 and minus 23.1533, we get 101.8467, etc. So this is our final estimate for B. If you want to use the calculator to write this thing, so you say B, it would turn out to be 180 minus 55. If you want the calculator to do this thing, and you write it as sine inverse of 120 times sine of 55 over 250, you can clean it up slightly. This is 125 minus sine inverse of 120 sine of 55 over 250. Okay, then the calculator can go ahead and calculate to as many decimal places as you want, and then you get the answer. However, more than likely, let's see, it's required to a tenth of a degree, which is already more accurate than a situation like this. So with the river and river bank and so on, you never get the accuracy of that sort. So 101.8 would be more than sufficient in this problem. Okay, so we dealt with word problem using law of signs. We were careful with the issue of possibility of multiple answers. We worked carefully with our picture, make sure that we reject perhaps certain tracks in our solution to get something that is sensible. All of our angles have to be positive. They cannot exceed 180 when you add them up, and issues of that sort. So until next time, good luck and God bless.